My name is Seth Parker. I am one of the career advisors slash technical recruiter slash catch-all for SkillStorm. And I'm here with Kevin McDonald, who's, and Kevin, you just want to kind of share a little bit about yourself and your role in play with CompTIA.
Sure. Hi, everybody, and great to be with you all here today. I'm a director with CompTIA. CompTIA is the global IT industry's trade association. We do many different things to grow and develop and professionalize the global IT industry, and particularly the IT workforce. Glad to be with you today.
All right. Great. So everyone, what we're kind of going to discuss today, you can see here the agenda. We want to be talking a little bit about just cybersecurity trends that are that we're seeing in the market in the tech industry today, and just kind of what it means for people who are interested in getting into that career path. And so Kevin's basically going to talk a lot to you about the trends that he and CompTIA are seeing and some of the value that the certifications that they have at their company can provide to you who are looking to, maybe it's a career shift, maybe you're a college graduate who's looking to get into this field. But essentially that's what we want to talk to you today about, is some of the trends that we see and some of the opportunity that SkillStorm can provide for you in that job search. So I just want to briefly start off here by talking about, again, the why behind we're doing this. There is a talent supply problem. And so you can kind of see some of the gap in skill set, the gap in people that are trained in an industry versus the availability of jobs in an industry. But you can see here, on this slide, some of the challenges that companies are facing, right? Whether it be a lack of talent, whether it be, like you see here, an aging workforce, whether it be just candidates and employees having trouble, how would you say, keeping on top of the required and relevant skills needed to succeed in the industry. These are some of the problems that many companies are facing in the tech industry. And so what we want to provide as a solution here at SkillStorm in conjunction with CompTIA is certification courses that will help accelerate your career and give you the skills necessary that the companies are actually looking for, to give you the skills required to succeed in the tech industry, whether that be a cybersecurity role, whether that be an IT role. We want to basically show you how at SkillStorm we can provide some value to you in terms of courses that will give you the skills necessary to succeed. So that's just kind of an overview of why we're doing this, just to remind you, right? There is a talent gap. There is plenty of work out there to be had in the tech industry, specifically the IT and cybersecurity fields, and we can help you overcome the obstacles that many companies are seeing in the workforce. And so that's just an overview. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn it over to Kevin. Kevin's going to talk to you a little bit about CompTIA and the company, and he'll mention a little bit about what they do and how what they do relates to the industry.
Thank you, Seth. For those of you not familiar with CompTIA, so CompTIA is an acronym for the Computing Technology Industry Association, which is, we realize, is more than a mouthful. So we go by CompTIA. Okay, we're an almost 40-year-old trade association. Okay, our mission is to grow, develop, right, and professionalize the global IT industry, and in particular the IT workforce. So we do many different things to support the IT industry. One of the things that we do, though, we have a line of IT certification tests, IT certification exams. Seth, on the previous slide, just showed our three most popular ones, A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, that literally over the past 30 years have helped millions to successfully transition into the IT industry and into IT work. Okay, so next slide, please, Seth. Okay, CompTIA Research produces on an annual basis dozens of reports on what's going on in the IT industry, and there's no more painful point with respect to IT than cybersecurity. And organizations of all size, organizations in the public sector, the private sector, government, academia, you name it, trying to protect their digital assets, right? So there is great pain. There has been fear. All you have to do is pick up a newspaper most any day of the week and see about the latest hack or hacks that have happened to companies, to government agencies, where assets, digital assets inside their networks have been compromised. Cybersecurity has been a terrible problem for years, and CompTIA annually studies it and surveys it. We've recently published our 2022 version of the State of Cybersecurity. I just want to point to a couple of key findings that we found in that survey. Seth? Okay. Just here in the US, we survey for this report, we survey internationally. My remarks here are just going to be to the 500 plus CIOs and other senior leaders of cybersecurity functions in large organizations. You can see what their plans are for trying to improve their workers' cybersecurity skills. Okay, half are saying we need to hire more. Okay, half as well saying we need to invest in our current IT employees. So half getting more training, okay, as well as expanding partnering, looking for new additional partners who might have other solutions, tools, hardware, software that can help them to better harden their networks. But also 40% of the 500 plus in the US who were surveyed in this cybersecurity report, 40% say we have to certify, we have to train and certify our employees more so that they have more of the current knowledge, more of the current skills, so that they're able to harden our networks, able to fight off cyber attacks better for us than have been the case in the past. Okay, Seth? Okay, this is just a quick look at some of the pathways into cybersecurity specialization. Okay, again, 500 plus here in the US who were surveyed on this question. 43% say professional hire with 5 to 10 years of experience. Okay, 39% migrated, promoted from IT infrastructure team. Okay, I'll talk about that in a little bit. 35% are looking to hire right out of college. Okay, understand though, you don't have to have a college degree. You don't at all have to have gone to college for any length of time in order to get hired into IT. Quite the opposite. What hiring managers are looking for are knowledge of what you know, proof of what you know, and what you can do. How do you get that to try to get work in IT? Take the training and test, earn certifications, earn IT certifications that you can put on a resume, that you can show to a boss, show to a hiring manager what you know and what you can do. Okay, so Seth, if you can just move to the next slide, please. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about, for most of you listening to this today, you've probably not worked in IT yet, and you've heard about it. Maybe you've learned something about it. Maybe you have a family member who's trying to nudge you in the direction of IT work. Let me give you 7 reasons very quickly on why you should actively consider enrolling through SkillSmart here and take at least an A+ course. First of all, there are many misconceptions about what IT work really is. And a lot of people think, or some people think, you have to be a math whiz. Not true at all, not in the least, okay? If you got through middle school math, okay, I'm not joking, if you got through middle school math, if you know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, okay, there are tons of IT jobs out there ready and waiting for you to do. So know that, okay? Some people also think that, IT work, it's not creative. Won't get to access my, have ideas. Not true at all. Particularly today, post-COVID lockdown, the workforce now is very, very, very much hybrid, okay? Whereas 3 years ago and prior, workers generally, you got up, you commuted, you went into a building. For the most part, most of your workforce was there inside that building accessing the network. Today, very, very different. Right? We still have many in the US workforce who are working from home. A lot of people think this is a permanent shift. Yes, we still have some people back in offices, but we have most workers now working a hybrid schedule where they're 1, 2, 3 days of the week, they're in the office, but the other couple of days of the week, they're working from home or somewhere else outside their physical office space, okay? With that, there are many solutions that need to be thought up for how to keep data secure, how to secure that endpoint. And now there are many, many, many more endpoints, desktops, laptops, smartphones that are outside, physically outside the network of an organization. They all have to be figured out. First of all, how to connect them, how to make them work, how to keep them working, how to update them, how to maintain them, how to upgrade them. And through all that, how to keep all of those data endpoints, all those device endpoints secure. So there's a good bit of creativity that's involved for many, many starting roles in IT, okay? Number three, a big part of your job will involve helping people, okay? What's not to like, okay? If for so many who start in IT work, they're doing technical support work. It might be on a help desk in one physical location. It might be out in the field as a field service technician. It could be a hybrid of those roles. But regardless of what it is, your workday, once you're up and running, is often working with a series of your colleagues and coworkers who have an issue, they have a problem, they have a connectivity issue, whatever it might, and to help them to solve that problem. So there's very much a significant people component to the work. Number four, there's no shortage of IT jobs. Folks, many people think that 2023, okay, we're only 2 months away from it. Many people think 2023 that we're going to go into a recession. The economy is always cyclical. There's always boom times and slowdowns that happen. And even if we're in for a slowdown in 2023 and beyond, I can guarantee you, I'm finishing my 13th year working for CompTIA. I have seen this time and time again. Whether the economy is robust, whether the economy is slow, there are always available IT jobs at the ready and waiting, okay? Listen to this statistic, okay? There are about 1.1 million cybersecurity workers in the US today. That's the good news, okay? A year ago, that number was under 1 million, by the way. So there's been over 10% growth in less than the past year of cybersecurity jobs in the US filled, okay? But here's the bad news, okay? There are over 700,000 cybersecurity jobs, open requisition, posted jobs today across the US that are going unfilled because there's a skills gap. There are not qualified workers, okay, who have the knowledge, who have the IT certifications that they can put on a resume to show that they can take those jobs, okay? So there's a tremendous shortage of IT work, of IT workers, qualified IT workers for jobs that are out there today. Okay? And as we have time as we go here today, we can get into the weeds and talk more specifically about that. Fifth reason, IT pays well. Look at CompTIA's website. Go to www.comptia.org. Okay, we have resources that are one mouse click in that can show you average salaries for many different types of IT work that we have. Starter at the early entry beginner roles, but also as you progress through a career. And there are many career paths in IT where you can make IT and cybersecurity work a career for yourself. Pays very well, and guess what? Those jobs are stable. Okay, even as the economy grows and contracts, okay, which it does over the long run, IT workers are always still needed. Always are. Okay. Number six reason, you'll always be challenged. Okay. Technology is dynamic. Okay. Technology companies that are out there have substantial research and development groups. Okay. Every year, they're always coming out with new technology. And your role as technical support or as a network administrator or a system administrator or working in cybersecurity is to stay current on what these new tools are, these new technologies, new software that's coming out. So the learning curve is something that you'll be after and that you'll want to stay current on. So you'll always be challenged. And number seven, a variety of industries need people with your skills. Okay, it's not just the public sector that needs IT workers and cyber workers. It's not just the private sector. It's not just higher ed. It's everybody all across the board. So if you already have certain industry work experience and you want a career change into IT, it's entirely likely that you can stay in the industry where you already have work experience, an industry that you already know. Make your transition into IT work in that industry that much easier, because there are very likely to be job openings in each and every industry, including the one that perhaps you've already put some number of years of work into. So, knocking down some myths, 7 reasons to work in IT.
All right. Well, I appreciate Kevin. Appreciate you sharing a little bit about some of the benefits of CompTIA certifications. We'll get into a little bit about the specific certifications that they can look into, but I just wanted to revisit the talent supply problem. Kevin just spoke a little bit about this, and again, you heard some of the numbers he was saying: 700,000 open IT slots, an increase of 400,000 jobs from last year to this year. Here's some other things that you can look at in terms of statistics. These are both statistics from CEOs and employees. You can see on the right-hand side, CEOs are concerned about the lack of key skills, right? They're concerned about the skills that their employees have. And to go right along with that, almost, a similar amount of number of employees think that their current skill set is going to be out of date within a few years. And so that's the benefit of these CompTIA certifications. They are objective measurements of standards for the tech industry that make sure that you keep up the skills that are necessary to succeed in the workforce, right? You don't have to be one of the employees, one of the 60% of employees that are curious about, are my skills relevant or not, right? You don't have to be an employee of one of the almost 80% of CEOs that say, I don't know that my employees have skills that are relevant to the workforce, right? So there's plenty of opportunity in the tech industry. From the numbers that Kevin shared to the numbers you can see on this slide right here, right, there's opportunity. And like Kevin said, in a nation that's, teetering along the verge of a recession, a lot of people, the number one thing they're worried about is job availability and job security. Well, if you can find an industry in which there's high job availability and good job security, it's almost like finding a diamond in the rough at this point in time. And so one of the benefits, in addition to all of the other benefits that Kevin just spoke about of reasons why to work in the IT field, is the fact that in a time where a lot of things are uncertain, you can be certain that there's going to be IT jobs available. And to the point of what you just mentioned, Kevin, about almost all sorts of sectors needing IT workers. I was talking to a gentleman recently, and he said, if you think about it, every company is an IT company. Because every company has some kind of security need, some kind of cloud need, some kind of platform need. And so you're right, there's a lot of availability in terms of there's not one particular sector that you have to pigeonhole yourself into. So here you can see a little bit about, SkillStorm. And so SkillStorm, just to give you a background, we are a technical recruiting agency primarily, and we've been doing this for 20 years. We just celebrated our 20-year anniversary back in August, and we've been profitable, and we've been blessed to have a lot of success in the field that we work in. And so what we're advertising here to you, what we want to show opportunity for you here, are some courses that we have through our university partners. A lot of you that are going to watch this webinar, that are watching, are going to be maybe upcoming graduates of certain universities that SkillStorm is partnered with, right? And so we partner with a few universities across the nation, and we're basically coming alongside of the university. And what we do is we work with the universities to give you an opportunity to give you these objective measurable standards to help you have the skill set to break into the tech industry. A lot of you are not going to be college graduates. A lot of you are going to be looking for a career shift and wondering, how can I get into this industry if I don't have a degree? And so we want to provide a solution for both groups of people. Excuse me. We do that through means of what we call accelerator courses. So accelerator courses, if you can imagine, we've talked about the value of these certifications. We'll talk a little bit about the different types of CompTIA certifications that you can receive. But what we're offering here at SkillStorm is we want to provide value in terms of giving you the best chance of obtaining one of these certifications. A lot of people have busy work schedules and they can't attend, these really rigid schedules that some companies offer. They can't attend because they have jobs that they have to attend to. They have to provide for their families. Some people, they might have all the time in the world, but they just don't know where to start. What information is pertinent to me? What do I need to be studying in order to obtain one of these certifications? So SkillStorm kind of basically answers both of those questions, right? It provides opportunity for people in both areas, right? For people who might not have the availability to always do live lectures and attend those, and also for the people who they have the time, they can attend live lectures, but they simply just don't know the information and where do I start? So that's where these accelerator courses come in handy. Right, so they're a mixture of self-paced and they're a mixture of instructor-led. So kind of how it works is we have 5 hours of live instruction each week. And the instructors are doing live instruction. They're not pre-recorded videos that we recorded, 5 years ago that we're asking you to watch, right? These are updated since the certifications are updated, right? And so these are up-to-date, measurable standards that you're going to need to know in order to pass these certification exams. So we have instructors that are doing live lectures 5 days a week. They're doing it, an hour a day typically. But if you can make it, great. If you can't make it because you have other obligations, well, the lectures are pre-recorded or they're recorded so that you can go back and watch them as time permits. You can also see that there's office hours. We offer a time where maybe if something wasn't inherently clear to you during the session, you have time where you can have one-on-one, sit down with the person leading that training, and you can sit down with him or sit down with her and say, hey, this wasn't really clear to me. Can you help clear this up? A lot of times that can be the difference between making it or breaking it, whenever you're studying for an exam. You can see here that we are an authorized training partner with CompTIA for the certifications. And so these are some of the value that we provide for people who are going through accelerator courses. It's a way to prepare you for the course, for the exam that you're going to take to pass the exam to get the certification, but that works with your schedule and works with your knowledge base. And so I want to move on here. This is a little bit of what we just talked about. Some of the ways that we evaluate, how you're keeping up in this preparation for CompTIA certification is through different evaluations on a weekly basis. So you can see sometimes it may be done through an exam, sometimes it may be done through projects, right, where you might be working, individually, you might be working within a group. But there's different ways that we evaluate whether or not you're maintaining, the skills and competencies that you will need in order to pass that assessment at the end of the course. Again, you get a certificate of completion through whatever university that you've taken this through, which is nice to have on your resume. And whenever you purchase an accelerator course, it does include the voucher for the CompTIA exam. So you don't have to take the course and then you have to go also purchase a certification. Right? By means of taking the course, it includes a voucher for the certification you're most interested in. So these are the courses that we have coming up here soon with CompTIA. And Kevin, we can probably pause for questions, but then we can also see, we can also maybe go into a little bit of the different certifications. But essentially, these are, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And at an appropriate point, I'd like to skip to the CompTIA website and just quickly show people some of the job roles information and salary ranges.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
So just briefly before we do that, I just want to show you guys the courses that we have coming up here. They're starting November 7th and they're going to run till December 3rd. So 4 weeks long of instructor-led asynchronous learning where you have access to live instruction. If you can't make it, the lectures will be recorded. And if you have additional questions, you can ask the instructors in some of their office hours that they host each week as well. So there's 4 courses coming up, or sorry, 3 courses, one for each of the major CompTIA certifications. They're going to run from November 7th to December 3rd. And so we definitely want to encourage you. These are things that are going to provide value to you, whether you are having a college degree and you're looking to break into the workforce, or whether it's more of a career shift for you and you're looking where to get started. These are going to provide a lot of value. And so speaking of value, Kevin, if you want, we can go ahead and look at some of the career paths, in terms of CompTIA and what they pay.
Yeah, absolutely. And but before we do that, let's just stay with this slide for just a minute longer.
Sure.
Folks, If you can earn your CompTIA A+, okay, you will have multiple job offers to do technical support for a technical support job role, okay, with multiple employers, all right? CompTIA A+ is CompTIA's first certification exam. Next year, 2023, we celebrate the 30th year of the publication of the first version of CompTIA A+. And I can assure you what the exam looks like today bears no resemblance to what the exam looked like 10 years ago, never mind 30 years ago, okay? But approximately 1.25 million, okay, you heard that right, approximately 1.25 million over the past 29 years have successfully tested and earned their CompTIA A+, okay? If you can earn your CompTIA A+ and Network Plus, all right, you will have multiple job offers, okay, to be at least a junior network administrator person. Okay, now the job title varies in tech, okay, and what in certain parts of the private sector, what they call a junior network administrator might be a little different from what in the public sector maybe what they call a junior network administrator. But big picture, get your A+ and your Network Plus. Job offers to be a junior network administrator or maybe a network administrator. Earn all three, CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. Okay, you will have multiple job offers for a starter job role in cybersecurity. Okay. Earlier I mentioned 700,000 plus open cybersecurity jobs today across the US. There's an additional 300,000 plus general IT jobs that are also open and are going wanting. Okay, usually starter jobs. Okay, why? Because not enough people have their A+. Not enough people have their A+ and Network Plus. Okay? Not enough people have their A+, Net Plus, and Security Plus. And if there's anyone on the line, if you happen to live in the Washington, D.C. metro area where I am, or if you live in a metro area that has a lot of federal government presence, particularly federal government DoD, Department of Defense presence, if you already have a security clearance, or if you've been behaving yourself and you can qualify for a security clearance and you get one or all three of these certifications, you're golden. Go to the head of the line. You will have multiple job offers waiting for you. Multiple. But what I'd like to do, because a lot of people, you're listening to this and say, okay, this is interesting, Kevin. Okay, Seth, this sounds good, but show me the money. What are we talking about, dollars and cents wise? And so just what I want to quickly show you, all right? An IT support specialist, that's someone who's earned their CompTIA A+. An IT networking specialist, that's somebody who's earned their A+ and their Network Plus. An IT cyber specialist, somebody who's earned their A+, Net Plus, and Security Plus. Okay, just very quickly, okay, that's a median salary. If you live in a big, expensive metro area, okay, your salary is going to be more than $51,000 as an IT support specialist. $230,000 annually, 230,000 annually job postings, okay, at 13% growth. So there's 13% more jobs for IT support specialists this year than there were last year, okay. Even better money for a networking specialist, okay, 155,000 jobs posted there, okay, with 9% growth. Cyber is going crazy, so almost $100,000 median salary, okay. If you live in a small town, okay, the salaries are not going to be as high, but you know that. Expected job growth for cyber roles, 25%. So 25% more cyber jobs next year than there are this year. So you can click, I won't do it now, but click under Learn More here, and you can see, and get even more detail about, okay, exactly what does an IT support specialist do? Exactly what does a networking specialist do? Exactly what does a cybersecurity specialist do? Okay. All right. What I want to do is, let me just go back and show you a couple more. Let's go back to our home page here. And get this. Let me just bring it back up. Okay, again, under resources, folks, certifications and jobs. Okay, so there's a terrific area here of, we call this content your next move. Okay, so spend time on the CompTIA website. Okay, but your next move, let's say, okay, systems administrator. Okay, that might be somebody who's earned their A+ or somebody who's earned their A+ and their Network Plus. Okay, and there's just some very good content here. Well, what is a systems administrator? What are the duties of a sysadmin? Okay, all right, and what do I do? You know, what's expected of me? Okay, and then, you know, the following skills that are conferred by the different certification programs. Big picture, this is what we're talking about for Network Plus and then for Security Plus. Okay, and on and on. There's just tons and tons of information that you can find on the CompTIA website. Spend some time there. Okay.
All right, great. All right, so let's.
Do we have any questions, Seth?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see. Lauren, do you know if we have any questions at the moment?
We do, yeah. So the first one I see here, I have a computer science degree and I'm interested in a cybersecurity career. Do I need to start with the A+ certification, or can I begin with a Network Plus or Security Plus?
Okay. Seth, would you like me to take a first crack at that?
Yep, I would.
Okay. So, are you in the workforce yet or not? That's a question one that I would ask. If you're already employed, and perhaps already employed in some other area of IT, can you consult with your training department or HR or your boss, your manager, and talk to him or her about your career aspirations, about your goals? That if you're already in the workforce, that would be a valuable conversation to have, to try to map out what a transition might look like, and perhaps a timeline for it. I would, if you're not yet in the workforce, okay, I almost always encourage people to start with CompTIA A+. Let me tell you a quick story. I'm finishing my 13th year with CompTIA, and 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 years ago, and so forth, everybody understood that they wanted to get into IT, they wanted to transition into IT. You get your Network Plus first, okay? Build a solid foundation, really understand all the basics, okay? Then and only then you go and get your CompTIA Network Plus, right? And build a solid foundation on networking and internetworking, right? Then and only then do you go and earn your CompTIA Security Plus, okay? And build a solid foundation for cybersecurity, getting much more out of your Security Plus studies because you took the time to get your Network Plus and your A+ out of that. In the last handful of years, no question, a trend in IT has been, because the cybersecurity skills gap that I mentioned earlier, it's so large and it's so painful to so many organizations. There are some who try to bypass A+ and Network Plus and go straight to CompTIA Security Plus. If those folks have been good students to date in their schooling years, whatever that has been, okay, and if they put the time and effort in and work hard with their Security Plus studies, it is possible that they can pass the Security Plus exam without having taken A+ and without having taken Network Plus. However, they won't have that strong foundation that they would otherwise had if they had taken the time, had the discipline to start with A+ and then only then go to Network Plus, and then and only then go to Security Plus. And what we hear oftentimes is those folks can pass, and if they can get hired into the workforce with only a Security Plus certification, there's a time of backfilling that has to happen because they don't understand everything they need to know about hardware and software and databases and mobile devices and connectivity and the basics of networking and internetworking. And so there's a backfilling period of time that has to happen. Hopefully, the organization that's hired you with only a Security Plus certification, hopefully they're all right with that and they understand that. Some employers will be understanding, some perhaps not so much. So if you can do it, and I understand situations for all students, everybody's different, but if you can do it, start with A+, build that strong foundation first with A+, then Network Plus, then Security Plus. That's the best way. And then additional learning, by the way, beyond Security Plus will come more easily to you because of the strong foundation that you've built with those first 3 certs.
Right. Great. Yeah, I think that answers it well. Lauren, what other questions do we have? Do we have any others?
We do, yeah. So I am getting started in my career and looking at different tech routes. What is the reason I should get a CompTIA certification? What could my career look like versus maybe something in cloud or another technology?
Yeah, that's a good one. You know what, Seth, can we switch back to the deck and go to the appendix to one of the slides that shows all of the CompTIA cert logos arranged?
Yeah.
If I can ask you to do that, please. That's a good one. CompTIA, we're the largest IT accreditation body. What we do, because so many of our certs, they've been out for so many years, decades, some of them, and are so very popular. Okay, so we have that. But to be fair, I will say there are other certifications out there that are not ours. They're not part of CompTIA. That, depending on your career angle, depending on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, they can be good and appropriate certs for you to go after. One quick example of that is if you're sitting there and you have figured out, I want to be a full-time project manager, okay, or you have a boss who's telling you that we need you as a full-time project manager. Well, guess what? You should go to an organization called PMI, and you should get in their course to study for and earn your PMP. Okay, that's the standard for full-time project managers. Okay? But when it comes to IT infrastructure certifications, okay, you come to CompTIA. All right, CompTIA A+, CompTIA Network Plus. You can see on the core IT function slide that's being shown now. After Network Plus, if you want IT infrastructure, or if you're being told, hey, we need you to specialize in IT infrastructure, then beyond A+ and Network Plus, you want to look at CompTIA Linux Plus, CompTIA Server Plus, and then follow on with CompTIA Cloud Plus. Okay. Separate of IT infrastructure, though, because of the cybersecurity skills gap, and we need so many more qualified cyber workers, you also want to look at our cybersecurity track. It begins in earnest with CompTIA Security Plus. CompTIA has 3 follow-on certs beyond that. Okay, a new third IT track it's brand new to CompTIA this year, and that we're building out over the next 12 months is data, big data, data analytics. CompTIA published a Data Plus certification. In another 6, 7, 8 months, we'll publish a follow-on data systems IT certification. This time next year, we'll publish a third big data cert around data science plus is probably what we'll call it. That's for anyone who's having to work with large data sets. Okay, so very different from IT infrastructure work, very different from cybersecurity work. This is a third path in CompTIA. Okay, using CompTIA certs. But I'll again say there are other paths, other ways to get into IT. These happen to be the most common and the most popular.
Great, perfect. All right, Lauren, any other questions?
Yeah, so what makes Skillstorm's training different than either something that's self-paced or doing it on my own? Will it prepare me better for the exam?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I can go back to the slide where we kind of talk a little bit about some of the similarities and differences of how Skillstorm operates the accelerator courses and how other in-person courses or other courses that do their best to prepare people for these CompTIA certifications. What's the pros and the cons? So you can see here, there are some, I guess, companies that offer to do self-paced certification, right? So self-paced, there is a benefit to self-paced, right? Again, if you have a work schedule, or if you've got kids, or if you've got other obligations that don't necessarily allow you the flexibility or the freedom to attend to a pretty, rigorous schedule that's not flexible, then self-paced is a good option. And self-paced can be, good for some people. But sometimes the drawback to strictly self-paced programs that try to prepare you for these certifications is this: if you have a question, you might not have access to anyone to answer that question. The other thing is, a lot of times with self-paced, there's lack of accountability, right? There's no one telling you, look, these are the competencies that you need to have. These are the competencies you need to have by this time. It kind of a lot of times will extend deadlines. So yeah, self-paced is great. Now, the benefit of the SkillStorm Accelerator courses is that there is a self-paced aspect to it. Like we mentioned, you do not have to be present at the live instructions. So in a sense, it is a human pace, right? But it also has the accountability of being instructor-led, right? And so that's the benefit of going with SkillStorm, is that we call it asynchronous. It's a mixture of self-paced and it's a mixture of instructor-led. So again, that's one of the differences, is that you have access to an instructor, right? One of the things you can see on the line 3 of that how SkillStorm compares graphic is that you have access to an instructor if you have questions. If there's something that just doesn't make sense with you, if there's something that you feel like you're on the precipice of understanding how it works, but you need just a little extra time, a little clarification on this or on that, you have access to an instructor. So that's another benefit. You can see the exam fees included, right? So there are going to be companies that offer to either do self-paced or instructor-led courses, and sometimes they will not include the exam fee. Whenever you sign up for an accelerator course through SkillStorm and a university partner, whenever you pay for the course, it's going to include the voucher for the examination. So you don't have to pay SkillStorm for training you how to pass the certification and then turn around and have to pay for the thing in addition to what you paid SkillStorm to help you get the skills needed to pass it. So that's another benefit. A big one here is that CompTIA has authorized us as a training partner. Right, so we have a relationship with CompTIA to where CompTIA has asserted SkillStorm knows what they're talking about. They essentially will give you the skills that you need to pass our certification exam. That's a big one. A lot of companies that will tout, these preparatory courses, they're going to do it based on what they think is best. But we have basically CompTIA seal of approval on the courses that we offer. And that might be one of the bigger benefits of what we offer here. Again, you can see that you can get a certificate of completion from a university, right? So once you finish, it's going to say, maybe if you're signed up through, I'm not sure, Jacksonville University, it might say you have completed a certification for CompTIA A+ through Jacksonville University. So by means of association with the university, it can be on a resume as well. So there's a lot of benefits of going through SkillStorm as a CompTIA authorized training provider, authorized training partner. There's a lot of benefits to going through SkillStorm. So that's what I have about that. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, so it looks like right now this is the last question. I am a senior graduating in the spring. Does it make sense to start these courses before graduation, or should I wait until after I graduate?
I'd ask what's the goal? What's the objective there if that person's still online?
I think that it would just be to the question is, does it make sense to get ahead, or once they graduate, maybe even timing aspect with other courses?
Yeah. Yeah. So if they're a full-time enrolled student now, from my personal experience, many years ago, spring semester of my senior year was not the time to hand me an additional course load when I was about to graduate. Us, you know, and frankly, some of the times, you know, the biggest barrier to successful preparation, successful training, studying for anything, it can be nice weather. You know, and so if someone's graduating in May, they're a full-time enrolled student. I know we have a lot of people dialed in that are from SkillStorm partner schools that are in Florida and California and the southern states. Pretty nice weather. Can be a little bit harder to stay inside, stay indoors, and do that training. Just anecdotally, I believe we have more who successfully study and prepare for CompTIA certifications across the fall, winter, and early spring months than they do in the summer months. So that's just something to think about. You want to set yourself up for success, not set yourself up for an unsuccessful initiative. So if you can be honest with yourself and say, yes, I can make the time. I will do this. You know, the time available as you know, you step through your spring semester, you know, February, March, April, and so forth, and you can do it, then power to it. Better to do it now and sooner. Have that certification. Because otherwise, okay, you graduate, and now you realize, you know what, I need to go get my CompTIA A+ or my CompTIA A+ and Network Plus. Now you're in summertime, nice weather outside, a little harder to have that discipline to go for it. So that would be my thought.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, it also depends on your individual workload, right? I know some students who are really ambitious, way more than I ever was, and they're taking 18 credit hours a semester, and I would never survive a semester like that. If that's you, do not attempt to take this at the same time, right? You're going to inevitably not complete one of your courses or, you know, the accelerator course through SkillStorm. Now, if you're one of the students that I talk to on a daily basis who they have kind of an easier last final semester, maybe it's just you know, one credit that, you know, or one class that they have to wrap up, and you just have the one class. I think that if you're, you know, pretty smart with your time, I think you should be more than able to handle an accelerator course, you know, while you're handling the final course of your program. So I think it depends on, you know, your situation. But yeah, I think, you know, just kind of like Kevin said, you know, have a little bit of a honest self-evaluation about where am I at academically and what's the likelihood that if this was something I were to pursue, I want to be successful at it. So what are the odds if I do pursue it at this point in time, I'll succeed. So yeah, so Lauren, is that all the questions?
Yeah, that looks like it's it. And I just want to add to what you are all were saying is that we're running these courses all year round. So just because, you know, you can't do it and you don't have the time with your current workload or you're working and going to school, then we have courses in the summer and fall and to work with your schedule. So
It's great.
Absolutely.
Well, Seth and Lauren, it's been a pleasure to be with you here today.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Kevin. We appreciate it. Appreciate all the information that you gave us, and it's a lot of valuable things. And so we appreciate you stopping by.
You're very welcome. Thank you.